Hey, generator installers. So, this video that you're about to watch is actually one video of a three-part series of training videos made for our clients inside of SwiftSocial to help them capitalize on all the high-quality generator leads that we get them every single day. So, what you're going to hear in this video are industry best-in-class practices that we've learned from personally interviewing dozens of our top-performing generator installer clients from all across the United States, and then distilled down into the highest possible return on investment and most important practices that they all had in common across the board for actually turning generator leads into dollars in your bank account. So, if you're a generator installer and you already know all this stuff, or maybe you learned a few things, but either way, you need more consistent, high quality generator leads, click the link in the description of this video to book a quick phone call with me, and we'll see if we're a good fit to work together. And if we are, we'll install our proven honesty based generator advertising system into your business, and we'll run it totally for free for 2 weeks. And if you don't love working with us for literally any reason at all, you never pay us a penny for it. So, without further ado, let's get into the training. Thanks. All right, so let's talk about lead nurturing best practices and how to actually maximize the response rates and the leads that you do get. This video is super, super, super important, and because it's really the first touch point that you get with these leads, which also means that it's the first kind of point in the process where it's up to you as the installer to actually turn these leads, into customers and into sales and money in your bank account. And there's a lot of things that can go wrong here, and there's a lot of mistakes that people make. So much so that, whenever we take on new clients, free trial clients, whatever it is, and they have problems, they tell us, all sometimes they tell us, the leads are low quality, they're not responsive, something like this. And it's like the first thing I tell them is go look at this video or go read the guidelines. Um, Look at what you're doing, compare your current lead nurturing process to these guidelines that we give you, and we give them for a reason, and see if there's any differences. And 99% of the time, 100% of the time, um, the issue is with the lead nurturing, because our system that we use to generate leads for you guys it's pretty bulletproof. I mean, sometimes there's seasonal things that come up and what have you, but the lead flow is going to be there 99% of the time. Okay. So if there's problems with actually turning these leads into qualified appointments and then into sales, it's usually down to the lead nurturing process, appointment booking process, which we'll talk about in future videos that you'll watch on this page also, in the sales process. So, number one, let's talk about lead nurturing best practices. So the first thing is prioritizing speed to lead. I can't overemphasize this enough how important this is. It's like the number one thing. Whenever people tell me, free trial clients, they tell me, hey, like, oh, the leads aren't responsive, blah, blah, blah. They're low quality, whatever, which happens sometimes. The first question I ask them every single time is, how fast are you responding to leads? And usually they tell me something like, "Oh, well, I got some leads over the weekend, but I was busy, and then, I was really busy on Monday too because, work piles up." And so I called them a few days later, and they didn't pick up, and I called them one time. And I'm like, "You can't expect to get people who are coming from Facebook and Instagram ads. You can't expect them to be responsive after leaving them sit for 3 days." Okay, even a day is a little bit long. If it's the weekend or something like that, we'll talk about that in a minute, but you can't let these leads sit. As soon as a lead comes in, you need to be hammering them right away as soon as they come in. So it says, aim to contact leads within the first 15 minutes of submission for the highest success rates. To emphasize this point, I read a study recently from Harvard Business School, a big fancy whatever, but basically they did a study, and this is the gist of it. This is what they found. If you contact these leads that you get, any business, it's just B2B study. If you contact leads on average within 5 minutes, or excuse me, within 1 minute of them becoming a lead, it increases the conversion rate, which means them actually turning into customers, by almost 400% on average. So that's, if you contact leads within 1 minute of them submitting the form, it increases your chances of them giving you money by almost 4 times. Like, there's nothing else that you could possibly do in your business that's going to immediately unlock you a higher return on your investment, right? It's like calling leads, texting leads, getting a hold of these people as soon as humanly possible is the priority. It's like uh, I'm going to rant about this, but it's because it's so important. It's like, if you watch all these videos and you only take away one thing from it, like between the lead nurturing video, this one, appointment setting guidelines, sales guide, you take away one thing, it's this: speed to lead is king. Drop your tool bags if you have to. If you're on a job site, and you're the one who's calling these leads and texting them and stuff, and setting the appointments, Literally drop your tool bags and call these people as soon as that lead comes in. Keep your ringer on your phone. Okay, it's that important, right? Because, it's like 99.9% of the time, it's easy to make that excuse in the moment and say, "Hey, well, I'm just gonna finish up doing this one thing that I'm working on, and then I'll give them a call, and then something else comes up, and then you forget about it, and then it's the end of the day, and then you're at home, and you're like, oh, well, I'm already at home, and it's getting kind of late, and, I shouldn't call them now. I'll call them tomorrow, and then so you can't do that. As soon as the lead comes in, call them. Call them. Okay, it's like of all the problems that we get with free trial clients, this is by far the biggest one, and it's such a simple fix too. Okay, it's such a. I tell people every single time, yeah, the leads are low quality, they're not responsive. Are you calling them right away? No, and then they switch over if they're actually someone who wants to get after it. Um, they start calling them right away, and guess what happens? All of a sudden, they're good leads now. It's like how does that? It's like they're not unresponsive. You're unresponsive. Okay, so sorry for that rant. But it's just I really want to drive that point home because it's just so, so, so important to contact these leads as soon as humanly possible. So yeah, aim to contact leads within 15 minutes or as soon as possible when they come in. If that's not feasible, a response time within 60 minutes is acceptable. Waiting until the next day, like I said, significantly reduces booking rates. So speed to lead, it's by far the most critical factor for turning these leads into customers long term. Okay, so you got to be doing that. Number 2 is use multiple communication channels. So you want to contact these leads first with a phone call, and next with text message, SMS or iMessage. Texting from an iPhone. If you have an iPhone, that's usually better. Usually, you get better response rates on that because when people see a text from an iPhone, they know that it's not like just some automated like bot or something like that. But either way, just you got to make sure you're calling these people. Make sure you're texting them as well. I'd say most of our clients actually get probably the highest response rates texting these people first because then you can use text to set up a phone call with them and then you can go a little bit more in depth with them on that phone call. But text message, phone call, super important. Email is it's worth throwing the hook out there, because it's pretty easy to send a quick email to them. So it's worth sending at least one email during the follow up process, but typically emails like the lowest response rates. People check it the least. So phone call and text message should be your go to. And then just throw out an email or something like that. Um, let's see. So number 3 is personalize your first message. So when you give them a text message or even like leave a voicemail or something like that, you want to include first of all their name and then reference the generator estimate within the first 10 words, right? I guess this is specifically for text message, but include the lead's name. Say, "Hey John, texting you because I saw you wanted to get on the schedule for a generator estimate. Do you have time to talk today?" Or something like that, or when's a good time for you to talk? Something like that. But just basically by including their name in that first message that they see from you within the first 10 words, they can see in the text message preview. When you go on your phone and you look at all the text messages that you got, I don't know about you, but I've got a billion of them. But you see the preview, you can see like the last thing that somebody said to you. You can see like the first 10 words of it, but then you actually have to click into the text conversation to see the rest of it. Um, that's why. So you want to put their name in the first 10 words and why you're texting them so they know without having to click into it that you know who they are and why you're texting them, right? Because then they'll actually click it and read the rest because they obviously requested a generator estimate. Um, so yeah, like I said, this ensures the lead, immediately recognizes the context and avoids mistaking the message for spam, right? That's why that's important. Number 4, so keep messages quick and simple. So ensure the lead can respond or can read and respond to your message within 10 seconds. So some people, they send people these giant, long, drawn out paragraphs, and even worse, they start trying to talk about all these different options and stuff over the phone, and they start, "Whoa, what kind of system are you interested in?" And what. And it's like you need to get on the phone to talk about these things because people, they have short attention spans. That's why they were probably scrolling through Facebook or Instagram to begin with. And if you send them a huge paragraph, especially as the first touch point with them, it's like they're not going to read all of that, most likely. Or if they do, it's going to take them a long time to respond. So keep at least the first, message that you send to them, trying to get on a phone call with them, keep it short and sweet. So if they can read and respond to it within 10 seconds, that's great. So longer, complicated messages often result, like I said, in delayed responses or none at all, right? Um, Number 5 is include a direct yes or no question. So you got to make sure, especially with that first text that you send to these people, that your messages end with a clear, easy to answer question that doesn't require a lot of thought. So this increases the likelihood of receiving a reply, obviously. So you don't just want to leave it open ended. Say, hey John, texting you because I saw that you were interested in getting a generator estimate. End of text. I mean, that's like, you might get a response from that, but a lot of the times people see that and they're just sitting there and they're like, okay, well, is he going to call me? Am I supposed to call him? Like, what is he going to ask me something else? So end with a question so they know that they got to respond to it, right? So, for example, um, do you have time today? Or what's a good time for you today? Um, for a quick phone call to discuss your generator estimate. Or do you have time today for a quick or a discussion to talk about your generator estimate, right? Something like that. So number six is persistent follow-ups. This is super important too. Most of the leads, or excuse me, most of the appointments that you're going to book are actually going to be from follow-ups. They're going to be from people who reached out to you and maybe, you did a good job with the initial speed to lead stuff and you called them right away, but it just could have been the case, as is with a lot of people where maybe they were, at work or something like that and they were on their phone on their lunch break and then they filled out your form that we made for you and then they went back to work and so you tried to call them but they're back at work and stuff and they're not going to get back to you till they're, at home or something like that or what have you. So basically, you're gonna get probably most of your scheduled appointments from the follow-up attempts that you do. So it's super, super important. I mean, if you don't do consistent follow-up attempts, that's easily probably half of the estimates that you would have got just deleted right there. Okay. So it's super important. So what should you do for follow up? So you should call and text each lead at least 3 to 5 times, and mix up the times a day that you do it too. So like sometimes you can try the morning, sometimes early afternoon or evening, maybe lunchtime. But call and text each lead at least 3 to 5 times before giving up on them. Maybe send one email. One email is probably good, like we talked about earlier overall. But yeah, don't just give up after 1 or 2 attempts. I mean, if these people jump through all the hoops that we make them jump through to request a generator estimate from you, chances are they're interested. They're probably just busy with their life, like everybody else is. So just make sure you're persistent with those follow ups. You're going to get most of your estimates from those follow ups. So don't neglect them. Okay. And don't be discouraged either if people don't respond to you right away. So like if you get a lead or especially if you start your new campaign and you get a few leads and you call these people and you do a good job on speed to lead, but you just don't hear back from them right away, that's not something to be discouraged. I mean, it's a numbers game, and just remember like follow-ups, you're going to get most of your appointments that way. So, um, follow a 5-day call plan. So, call the lead once per day for 5 consecutive days at different times, morning, afternoon, evening, like I kind of talked about earlier. And then supplement the follow up text and emails if you want, day one, day three, day five, something like that. Just shoot, and it doesn't have to be the same text, like the sample one that I'm going to provide you. In fact, it shouldn't be. Don't send the exact same text every single day, but just something quick, and something that's, maybe relevant to like, happy Tuesday or hope you had a good New Year's or something like that. You know what I mean? Just so they know, like, hey, this isn't an automated, um, like a robot texting me or something like that, just trying to get me on the phone. This is like, hey, this is them actually reaching out to me. You know what I mean? It's more personalized. Um, Number eight is optimal contact timing. So the best times to call and get a hold of people are typically early in the morning before people start working. Um, or probably the best time overall is early evening when people just get home from work, but it's not too late to give them a call yet, right? Number nine is execute a double tap or a double dial strategy. So, first of all, like I said earlier, call the lead immediately when a lead comes through. And if they don't pick up, send a personalized text using the template below, and then call again 1 to 2 minutes after sending the text. Okay. So the reason you do this is because some people have a call screening or call screening services set up on their phone. So if there's an unrecognized number, like yours probably is because you've never talked to them before, calling them, it's automatically going to screen it out, right, and just send you right to voicemail or something like that, or it won't even go through and connect the first time. But the way to get past a lot of these call screening services is if you double dial their number, then the second time it'll let it through, right? So if you call somebody right away and it goes straight to voicemail or something like that, or it doesn't connect, try calling one more time, like right after, right? And then if they don't pick up, send the personalized text using the template below, and then call again, like I said, 1 to 2 minutes after sending the text. And then the last thing is the sample personalized text. So you don't have to use this, but it's kind of foolproof. I mean, it's here for you to use. So if you're wondering what to text these people, Once a lead comes through, you give them a call. They don't pick up right away. For the first text that you send them, you can just use this template that we provide you right here. So, hey, lead name, it's your name from company name. Do you want to find a quick time or find a time for a quick call to discuss your generator estimate? Thanks or thank you. This is basically what we described earlier. They can read this and respond to it in under 10 seconds. Or like 10 seconds. It's got their name at the start. They know that you know who they are. It's got your name, builds, trust credibility from your company name. It's congruent with the ads. They saw your company name. They're seeing it again. That's good. And then it ends with a yes or no question, like we talked about. Do you want to find a time for a quick call to discuss your generator estimate? They're going to say yes. And then you're going to say, okay, what time works for you? Then you're going to find a time for a phone call. So that's basically it. If you only remember literally one thing from this entire video, it's right here. It's prioritize speed to lead. Call these people. I can't tell you how many clients we've had. I keep harping on this, but I can't tell you how many clients we've had that got decent results not being super on top of the speed to lead stuff, and then they made the change, and they told me like, hey, like we literally, like you said, started dropping our tool bags when one of these leads comes in, and just make it our top, unless it's an emergency, which it's not really ever. um, Top priority is calling these people as soon as humanly possible. Drop your tool bags, call these people, no matter what you're doing. Drop it, call these people. And they tell me over and over again, once we made that change, it's like we went from like good results to incredible results. And that's where you see, like a lot of the testimonials and stuff that I have up on my YouTube channel, on the website, all that kind of stuff, that people doing, 15 plus generator installs in a month or even way more than that. And it's like, it's because they're just actually following these. Like, I give you these guidelines for a reason, so if you follow all this stuff to a T, it's going to be very difficult for you to not be successful and make a bunch of money, right? um, so yeah, thanks for watching this video. If you got any questions, you know how to contact me. All my contact information's down below. And go ahead and go watch step 2, which should be a video talking about the appointment setting process. Because basically, once you get all these leads coming in and you do a good job on this, you call them right away, you get them to set up a time for a phone call with you. What do you actually do once you get on that phone call? That's another area where people kind of drop the ball sometimes. Right. And so I'm going to show you exactly in that next video what to do once you actually get on the phone with these people, and how to actually turn these leads into price range qualified appointments, so you can actually go out there, estimate them face to face and actually make money, get the job. So thanks for watching. Watch the next video, and I'll see you soon. Bye.